Be ready. 15 seconds to go. 5 seconds to go. Sir, almost all the newspapers in the country have spoken rather strongly against the reckless imposition of sales tax. But we find that the government have not paid any heed to the criticism made against the sales tax. On the contrary, the government have been issuing circular after circular calling upon the state governments to raise additional money by taxation, especially by imposing the sales tax. Now, as you know, even in the meeting of the National Development Council, which was held some time back, the state chief ministers pointed out that they were not in a position to raise more than rupees 300 crores by way of taxation, while the central government demanded that they should raise rupees 225 crores by way of additional taxation in their respective states, leaving aside the central taxes. Almost all the chief ministers objected to this proposal, and they said that their capacity as far as taxation was concerned in their states had reached the saturation point, and that it would not be possible for them at all to go beyond the limit of rupees 300 crores. We thought that these opinions of the state chief ministers would be seriously taken into account by the government, but they have not done so. And we are extremely disappointed to find in the second 5-year plan, to which I shall come later, that out of the amount of rupees 400 crores representing the uncovered gap, they want to raise rupees 300 crores by way of taxation, and I have not the slightest doubt in my mind that there will be a greater pressure on the states to impose taxes on various things. Now, as you know, the states are not in a position to impose any income tax that is beyond their jurisdiction. They can only impose certain other types of taxes, for example, the sales tax and so on. In fact, sales tax is the real thing as far as the states are concerned. Therefore, if the central government makes more and more demands on the states to find additional finances by way of taxation, it inevitably means in the circumstances that the states will be going in more and more for imposing the sales tax. Now, the central government is likely to come into the picture for imposing sales tax. Another equally important thing is about the division of the personnel of the services. In this matter, the States Reorganization Commission recommended that there should be uniform pay scales in all states. For that purpose, they said, when the state of Madhya Pradesh or Karnataka was created or formed, there should be uniform pay scales for all these services, be they belonging to the old Mysore cadre or to the Bombay cadre or Hyderabad cadre. From the bill, I don't find any such attempt being made. It is true that to raise the scales of pay in Mysore means additional expenditure to be incurred from the state funds. But can we defer or postpone it or avoid it? I think we cannot. It is absolutely necessary to strengthen our administration, and one way of strengthening the administration is to have a uniform scale of pay for all the services from whichever area they might come. Otherwise, what will happen is there will be one scale for the persons who might come from Bombay, another for those coming from Madras, another for those coming from Hyderabad, while those from Mysore will have their own scale of pay. This is bound to create a lot of confusion, and in this context, I am sorry, some political leaders in Mysore made the mistakes of making a statement that they did not want the services from other areas, and if they came, they must come at their own risk. I don't know whether that statement was made after consideration. I hope it is not. Had they merely looked into clause 100A of the draft bill, that statement would never have come to be made. You know, under clause 100A of the draft bill, the entire cadre of all the previous states and the present Bombay and Madhya Pradesh states stand dissolved, and a new cadre is being formed by the central government. That being so, I don't know how you can say that you are merely allowing somebody else to come. This has created a lot of bitterness, and a number of people have complained about it. The services in other areas are quite shy of coming to the new state, and it will not be in our interest to keep back any service if it is an efficient one. It might be necessary to put in more specific provisions. Mr. Chairman, sir, I rise to support this bill to the extent it goes, and to press my definite view that the scope of the bill requires to be widened. Being a new member, naturally, I have a sense of hesitancy in speaking on a subject like this. All the same, I should like here to express my sense of gratification for having been allowed this opportunity to make my first speech here on a measure which seeks to extend the freedom of the press, and by so extending the freedom of the press gives added opportunities and facilities to the people of our country to better shoulder the responsibilities of democracy. I do not propose to dwell at length on the legal and judicial aspects of this question. I am not a lawyer, not even a bad lawyer. After all, the speeches that have been made in the other house, and also after the speech by the distinguished mover of the bill here, it becomes unnecessary for me to dwell at length on the legal aspects, but I have been a journalist and a newspaper man all along. And with the practical experience of a journalist, I hasten to support this bill.